There has been a lot of media attention with the book Welcome to Sex by Dr. Melissa Kang and Yumi Stynes. This book has gone as far as being withdrawn from stores like Big W, not because of its content, but because of the way the public are being abusive to staff members about keeping this book on the shelves. Big W has kept this book through their online platform, as they say it's still as self-help and educational and inclusive. So let's discuss. The debate is over whether we classify this book as a sex guide that's teaching sex to young children or being a comprehensive and inclusive sexual education manual. Critics have taken issues with particular areas of the book, not just focusing on penetrative sex, but also fingering, scissoring, oral sex, and anal sex. Others have even proclaimed that it's going as far as grooming young children. So what is this book actually about? According to online research, Welcome to Sex is in the latest Welcome series by former Dolly doctor Melissa Kang and broadcaster and mother Yumi Stynes. The book describes itself as a frank, age-appropriate introductory guide to sex and sexuality for teens of all genders. It says it is being inclusive, reassuring, and all about keeping sex fun, real and shame-free. It is even meant to help readers navigate their sexual debuts with confidence. Okay, so who is the target audience? Well, the book is targeted toward teens of all genders. Amazon has actually classified this book as being appropriate for the ages of 11 to 14 years of age. Yumi Stynes has even been quoted to say that she's comfortable with even a mature 8-year-old to actually flick through the content. An 8-year-old. What makes this book inappropriate is its content. It's graphical, sexual content. It is teaching sex to young children. That's the big issue. There are other big issues with the book's contents, focusing not just on sex, but also on losing your virginity, size matters, sexual positions, and orgasms. Topics which are highly inappropriate for little boys and girls. Remember, this book is targeted not for men and women, but for little boys and little girls. Now, I'm a father of a 4-year-old child. I'm not an expert in parenting, and I'm not an expert in sexual education. I am merely concerned. What is the appropriate age that we can teach children about sex, and how can we actually do it right? The appropriate age to teach children about sex can vary depending upon the child and their individual development. It is important for parents, caregivers, and educators to provide age-appropriate information about sexuality and relationships to children in a way that is respectful, accurate, and inclusive. It is important to remember that every child is different, and what may be appropriate for one child would not be appropriate for another. It is important to consider the individual needs of the child before offering sexual education. There are many age-appropriate ways that us as parents can address sexual education with our children. So here's just a few. We can use correct names for body parts and explain the differences between male and female anatomy. We can answer our children's questions in an age-appropriate manner. We can provide age-appropriate books or resources that explain sex and relationships in a clear and factual way. If you have any content, techniques, or even books for resources that may be helpful for parents or upcoming parents, please share them in the comments. We'd like to broaden the knowledge of this community. We can actually encourage open and honest communication about sex and relationships, and let children know that they can come to us as parents with any questions or concerns. We want to create a safe environment for our children. We can teach children about consent and behaviors, and how to respect their own bodies and the bodies of others. And we can discuss the emotional aspects of relationships and not just the physical aspects. Let me reiterate. We must consider the individual needs of a child before providing sexual education. What may be appropriate for one child will not be appropriate for another. I believe I'm considerate of others' cultures and their religions. I'm a man of Christian faith. And so in my home, I'll be teaching my son about the biblical foundations of relationships and marriage. Now, I'm not going to be providing you with this is how you should teach your child, or this is what you should do to raise your children. I'm not here for that. I'm here merely to raise my concerns so that you can become more aware of how the world around us is trying to teach and impact our children. I will link some resources in the description so you can make your own informed decision about not just this book, but about being more aware and cautious about how our children are being raised by the media around us.